Okay, we are going to review linear equations. You've done this in the past, so we'll try to make this quick and painless as possible. So your y equals mx plus b is the equation that you use for any linear function. M is being your slope, b is being your y-intercept or your starting point. So we can look at it as rate of change and starting point. So if we look down here, let's just use an example of how would we get the equation of a line using a graph. So using a graph, a good way to do this slope would be to do your rise over your run. So if you go from here, you look, you rise 1, 2, 3 blocks. So 3 is the rise. And then you're running 1, 2, 3, 4, but you're going backwards 4. So this would be a rise 3 and backwards 4 because you're going to the left. You're getting smaller, which would give you a slope of 3 over negative 4 or negative 3 over 4. It doesn't matter how you write that. You can also do it just mathematically with the formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. It's really the same thing as rise or run because rise is your y values, run is your x values. But if you wanted to do it that way, you could do 7 minus 4 over 0 minus 4, which again gives you 3 over negative 4. So either way you want to do that, whether the rise over run method or the formula method, either one works perfectly fine. Now your y-intercept is nice because most of the time when you have a graph, it's going to cross the y-axis. And in this case, the y-intercept, or b, is just equal to 7. So if we know our equation is our y equals mx plus b, where b is a slope, or m is a slope and b is a y-intercept, you get the equation 3 over 4x plus 7. So that's how you would do it using a graph. Now, if you flip the page over, what are we going to do if we just have points? So now we don't have a graph. So one thing you can do if you like is just make a graph, sketch it, and do exactly what we just did. I'm going to show another way. So we need to find the slope. So let's use the formula y2 minus y1. So this is your x2, y2, x1, y1. So 11 minus 3 over 4 minus 2 is 8 over 2, which we can just write as 4. So now we know y equals mx plus b. We have our slope, which is 4, so we can just put that in. Now what we're going to do here is you can pick either this point or this point, either one of those points. I would suggest using the smaller numbers, make it easy. So I'm going to use the 2 and 3. So I know that x equals 2 and y equals 3. But I don't know what b is. But I know how to find it. So I can use this. And I get 8. Subtract 8 and I get negative 5. So now I know my slope is 4 and my b is negative 5. Now the trickiest part to this, and I'll circle it in red, is understand that you have to substitute in this step for either one of those points. If you used 4 and 11, you would put 4 here and 11 here. That would be 6. It would still give you the same negative 5. It would be 16 minus 11 gives you negative 5. But you have to know this step. Plug in your slope, which you get from here, and your 2 and your 3, and that will give you a way to find the b. Otherwise, you won't have that and you can't solve the problem. So y equals for the equation, because remember, we are trying to find the equation of a line. This is not your answer. It's not b. We're trying to find the equation. So it's 4x, because our slope is 4, minus 5. And that would be the equation of the line. Now, a table of values, it's the same thing. We still have to find a slope and a y-intercept. What's nice about a table is you can typically just kind of follow the patterns here to get your b, because your b is when x equals 0, so it's where it starts. So if we were to take a look at this and look at this pattern, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, that's easy. This one is 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Well, take away 5 and take away 5, so that's also pretty easy. And what that gives us, the 0, negative 5, that gives us the b is equal to negative 5. Now, we want to find our slope, and it's still going to be either rise or run, or y2 minus y1 over over x2 minus x1. So I'm going to use this, and you can pick any point you want here. So I'm just going to pick these points right here, the 1, 0, and the 2, 5. So my y values are 5 minus 0. My x values are 2 minus 1. Gives me 5 over 1, or 5. So I know now my slope is 5, or my rate of change, and my b is negative 5. My equation then becomes 5x minus 5. Hope that helps. Good luck.